Hi, welcome to a new math video where today we'll be taking a refresh or a review on rational expressions. So here we have a problem which is already solved, but we're gonna go step by step and question by question to see how you solve this problem. So the problem is x squared plus 49 over 30x squared minus 380x plus 800 divided x to the power of 4 minus 2401 over 5x squared minus 15x minus 350. This is the whole operation. So the first thing we've got to do is the reciprocal, which is done on the next step but in the next step we already merge everything together. Okay, now let's pass to the to each equation. So the first equation is x squared plus 49, which it's doomed to be unsolvable because there's no greatest common factor and there's no sums of squares, so it's impossible to solve. Okay, now let's go to the next, which would be 5x squared minus 15x minus 350. So now let's see how to solve this one.
Step you have to do to solve this equation is greatest common factor. You have to find the greatest common factor between all three numbers and then separate the greatest common factor and the rest of factors. What you gotta do to find the greatest common factor is you have to find a number that can be divided by all three. So when you have that, you have to divide all three numbers by the greatest common factor. Then you have to find pairs of factors of each number, of the last number, so you can do FOIL method. The pairs of factors you have are 10, 7, 35 and 2, and 70 and 1, and that's it. You have to get the pair of factor, so the two numbers remaining multiply by each other, get the last number, and add it up or subtract it together, get the second number. And the x, you have to evenly separate it, so it's x minus 10 times x plus 7.
Okay, now that we have solved that one, we can put it on the next parenthesis. As you can see, there it is. It's 5 times x minus 10 times x plus 7. Okay, and the other one's there. Now let's go to the lower bottom of the third. So in the lower bottom, the first one is 30x squared minus 380x plus 800. Now let's see how to solve this one.
In the exercise of 30x2 minus 380x plus 800, we have to find the greatest common factor, that is 10. That leaves us 10 multiplied by 3x2 minus 38x plus 80. Then we have to apply the ACT method, that is multiplying the first number with the last number, and try to find pairs of factor that multiplying gives you the answer of the multiplication that you did, but adding gives you the number that appears in the middle. In this case is 30x minus 8x, and the operation leaves shows that it has to be shown as 3x2 minus 30x minus 8x plus 80. Then we have to apply by grouping, since there are 4 terms. In the first parenthesis has to be the first two numbers, that are 3x2 minus 30x, and the other parenthesis is 8x minus 80, and that's why we have to leave the negative outside of the parentheses, so we can change the symbol that is inside of the other or inside of the parentheses, so we can have the same numbers when we do the greatest common factor in each parenthesis. That would be 3x in the first one, and leaves you with a parenthesis of x minus 10, and in the other would be 8, so it leaves you with x minus 10. So then you correct the first two numbers that are outside the parentheses, and do the and put them on a parenthesis apart, and the other parentheses put the operations that are repeated.
Okay, now that we see how to solve that one, we can finally move on to the last equation, which is x to the power 4 minus 2401. So let's see how to do that one. So in order to do this one, you've got to find the square root of x to the power 4 and 2401. Now I'm going to tell you the square root. The square root of x to the power 4 is, of course, x to the power of x squared, sorry, and the square root of 2401 is 49. Okay, so now we split them evenly, which means the answer is x squared plus 49 times x squared minus 49. Can we do anything else? Indeed we can. On the second operation, the first one is x squared plus 49. The second one, since it's a difference of square, then we can indeed go even deeper. So the answer will be the final answer will be x squared plus 49 times x minus 7 times x plus 7. Because because 7 is square root of 49 and x is square root of x squared. So that was all, and yeah. Okay, now that we know everything, now we can get to doing the final operation. So on the final operation, as you can see there, everything's all crossed, but I will read you the final operation when it's all put and done. So the final operation is x squared plus 49 times 5 times x minus 10 times x plus 7. That's the upper level. Over 5 times 2 times 3x minus 8 times x minus 10 times x squared minus 49 times x plus 7 times x minus 7. Okay, now all we gotta do is cross out which ones are equal on top and on bottom. So on top, does x squared plus 49 have an equal below? Yes, it does. Does 5 have one? Indeed. Does x minus 10 have one? Of course. Does x plus 7 have one? Yes. So after we cross all of that, we just take that off, and at the and on top it will be 1 because it cannot be 0, so it will be 1. That's the reminder what's left. And below it's what wasn't crossed, so it's 2, so it's 1 over 2 times 3x minus 8 times x minus 7. Well, that was all for this video. Thank you so much. Bye!